Hooray!
Huzzah! Little Shop of Horrors.
Little shop.
Little Shop of Horrors. Little Shop of Horrors. So, clearly, we're talking about the 86 musical version.
Not the 1960 non-musical, really crappy version. So hi, welcome back to the B-Cast. This is episode 9, believe it or not. We've done this for 9 weeks.
That's crazy. I think it's actually 10 weeks.
10 weeks, because we skipped that week. But, so we were going to review Spaceballs, but then we both decided that we really don't like that movie. Not for, lack of it being good, but for lack of it, being good 500 times.
Yeah, I mean, by the 3,000th viewing, you're just like, yeah, I get it. They're making fun of Star Wars. Don't like Star Wars either.
Oh, I like Star Wars.
I know you do. Well, actually, I didn't know you do, but It doesn't surprise me.
Star Wars is good. Spaceballs is good. Star Wars, the 1, 2, and 3, not so good. So we decided to watch another movie that had most of the same actors in it.
Indeed.
John Candy and Rick Moranis, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, Spaceballs is a pretty good movie. Mel Brooks, from back in the day when they knew how to do parodies really well.
I think Mel Brooks did all the parodies.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he did Spaceballs and Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Which was really good.
That was really good.
I could still watch that one.
And he did...
Young Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yes.
And he did lots of other stuff.
He did The History of the World, Part 1, and Blazing Saddles, and some more that I can't think of right now.
Yeah, he's a freaking genius of his comedy time. And
I was just like, because nowadays you can't do that anymore. Like you've got all those stupid like scary movie or date movie or dance movie or.
He looks so different.
I know. Wow. I forgot about the producers.
Oh yeah, the producers that just came out in 2005. I say it just came out because I haven't seen it yet, but it is a remake of an older one.
Have you seen the older one?
I have not seen the older one.
Well, I've seen the newer one at least, and it's pretty good. Spaceballs, the series that animated everything. My God.
Oh my gosh, Spaceballs the animated series is hilarious.
Is it?
So good. They have there's one episode where they're trying to like take over by giving everyone E. coli as a beverage, and they call it E. cola.
Sounds like something they do in Futurama.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That was in 2007 through 2009, though, so that wasn't in the...
It was on Netflix a while ago.
Hey, it's the guy from The Room and the Related Lists.
Oh, God. Related Lists.
Anyways.
God, that guy. If you haven't seen The Room, go see The Room. But not by yourself, because it's terrible by yourself.
No. See if you can't catch one of those fun midnight showings.
So, yeah, Mel Brooks is definitely still very active and making lots of things.
Yes. But not quite as prolific as things he used to make. Like, he's doing a lot of TV.
Yeah.
I think his last big movie is Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yeah, probably.
Which I wasn't too fond of, honestly.
I think he's done... No, his last big thing was The Producers.
Okay, yeah, the Producers remake.
And then Spaceballs, the animated series. So funny. So Spaceballs is actually pretty good. They parody Star Wars, and you have, all your main characters. You don't have there's not a Luke.
No, it's like Star Wars without Luke. It's Han Solo and Chewie, or
Barf.
I know Barf. I can't remember his name.
Barf John Candy.
No.
Chewbacca?
No, I know Chewie. The guy that's doing the Han Solo parody. I can't remember
Lone
his character's
Star.
name. Oh, Lone Star?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, what's his name? He's so famous.
It's Bill Pullman or something.
Yeah, Bill Pullman. I was gonna say Bill Paxton. I'm like, that's not right. It's not Bill Paxton. It's Bill Pullman, and he's in all kinds of stuff, like Casper.
Yeah.
And he was in The Newsies.
He was in While You Were Sleeping.
Yeah.
Leave It to Me to bring up the gay, romance reference. But yeah. So he plays Lone Star and...
Lone Star. There's Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the Hut was amazing.
That was actually Don Bluth, I think.
All I remember is that Pizza the Hut was the only reason that Lone Star and Barf got into this whole mess.
Is because they had to pay him back.
Yeah, they had to pay him back, and so, instead of being like Han Solo and actually being... Well, no, I think Han Solo was probably kind of a shady character too, but... Sorry, I do not know these movies very well.
Han Solo was a smarmy kind of smuggler. He was very much like Mal Reynolds in Firefly. Like, they're basically the same character.
A little bit, yeah.
No, yeah, like a lot of it. They're smugglers. They're both kind of like think they're too cool.
Well, I mean, I know what you're saying, but if Nathan Fillion was Han Solo, would have watched the fuck out of that movie.
Dude, no, really? They are the same person.
But yeah, so...
Like, Han Solo is like Mal Reynolds after the whole Firefly thing. Or Mal Reynolds could be Han Solo after Leia leaves him. He could have went to another galaxy, fought in a different war, lost, and felt really bad about himself.
Fair enough.
Went back to his smuggling.
At either way, I like him better as a smuggler than a freedom fighter against the freaking Empire. But yeah, so Lone Star and Barf owed a debt to Pizza the Hut. Later they got out of it because Pizza the Hut ate himself to death. Which was amazing.
He locked himself in his car and ate himself to death. Yeah.
Oh man. What I love is Pizza the Hut's lackeys that were like that freaking 80s like computer guy.
Yeah.
That I don't know the name of. No, it was Max something. I think it was the guy was named Max. And if you weren't sentient during most of the 80s like myself or Mal.
We were sentient?
Well, I mean, we were alive.
I was 5.
but my memories start more or less in the 90s. So we just barely missed out on that character, but it was like a big pop culture thing in the 80s, and he was like a weird computer-generated guy that stuttered. And those guys worked for Pizza the Hut. Yeah.
Lone Star and Barf. Barf is a Mog.
Yeah.
Part man, part dog. That's good thing to know there.
There's a character named Dot Matrix.
Yeah, Dot Matrix. The Joan Rivers. See, this one.
Was it? Okay, so her name was Dot Matrix, huh?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Dot Matrix was the C-3PO knockoff played by Joan Rivers.
There was no R2-D2 knockoff.
I'm pretty sure the R2-D2 was the giant hairdryer that they kept carrying around in this box.
Fair enough, yeah. Crazy ass hairdryer.
Yeah. There was a yogurt.
Yep. That was Mel Brooks himself.
Yeah, and Mel Brooks also played President Scrooge.
Oh yeah.
And President Scrooge is like the Emperor in Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah.
While the Dark Helmet was Darth Vader.
Was the Darth Vader character played by
Rick Moranis.
Yeah, Rick Moranis.
Yeah. Which is why I feel okay about watching Little Shop of Horrors.
Exactly. He's quite funny. He's he's got like an inferiority complex. And there's this
because he's
dog.
Short.
He is short.
And he doesn't really know what's going on along the ship.
No.
He's like, show me the radar. Why isn't there anything on this radar? That's Mr. Coffee, sir. Yes! You know I like to drink coffee while I watch Radar.
Exactly. And they have the shorts.
Yeah, they have shorts. Oh, also, what's really cool in this is the guy that plays one of the Spaceballs, which is like a stormtrooper.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that does all the sound effects. He was like the original beatboxer.
Oh, yeah. I remember that guy.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't he also in the Police Academy movies?
Yes.
That was the same guy?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a funny little scene with the guy doing the sound effects of the radar.
Yeah. He's like, I lost the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. And they're like, what? And he's like, you know, the bleeps. The sweeps. And the creeps. I'm not very good at that.
No. Well, I mean, you did better than I would because I'm just not going to try. But I guess in retrospect, it's actually a pretty good movie. Just neither of us wanted to watch it. Radar Technician.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Michael Winslow. Yes, Michael Winslow, original beatboxer. Skilled at making highly realistic sound effects with only his mouth.
Yeah. And, you know, I know this isn't really, like, necessarily B-movie fare, but I'm a big fan of 80s movies. You should check out the Police Academy movies.
I'm pretty sure that every movie made in the 80s is now considered a B-movie. Because they always had that fake future-y shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neon lights and leg warmers and whatnot.
But yeah, so check out the Police Academy movies if you haven't. I can't imagine why you wouldn't have, but at least the first one or two are good. Well, nobody's seen all of them. There's like 20 of them.
Police Academy 24.
Well,
Jaws 19.
I mean, somebody's probably actually seen all of them, much like, I mean, because you've seen all of the Land Before Times, so...
My God.
So there's got to be somebody somewhere, but...
I actually kind of stopped watching at 11.
At 11?
Yeah.
Well, you should.
Yeah.
I stopped watching way before 11.
Got to the point where my sisters were no longer interested, and I figured they are 7 years younger than me. I should probably stop watching this.
Was that really the brain process? It's like...
Yeah. I'm like, alright, look. Melanie is now 18, and she did not ask for the new one for Christmas. I should probably stop watching this. So, yeah. Spaceballs is pretty awesome. It's a really good Star Wars parody. I do recommend watching Star Wars A New Hope at least before watching Spaceballs, because a lot of the jokes are taken straight from Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's not nearly as funny unless you've seen it.
Like, I have a very... I've got a somewhat working knowledge of Star Wars. I've seen 5 of the 6 at one point in my life, so...
Yeah.
Mind you, the one that I missed was of the new terrible trilogy, so
Don't
it doesn't
worry about
really
it.
matter. So,
Was it the third one?
I missed the second one. I did the same thing with...
The second one's terrible. Don't watch it.
I did the same thing with Lord of the Rings. I saw 1 and 3, and then I did that with the new Star Wars as well. I don't know why. But,
So you should see 1 and 3 of the new Hobbit movie.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll probably just put all the boring crap in the middle one. But, yeah, so Spaceballs is good. You should definitely check it out. If you want to check out other Mel Brooks movies, I highly recommend Robin Hood Men in Tights. That
Definitely.
one's great.
So awesome. I've only seen it like twice, but it's definitely one of my top 10 movies.
Yeah, and Young Frankenstein. Wow, only twice?
Yeah. Only twice. I hate Young Frankenstein.
Really?
I do, but it's only because I really don't like Gene Wilder, and I hate everything that he's in because he freaking creeps me out.
I love Gene Wilder.
Everybody says that. They're like, he's a genius and he's wonderful, and I'm like, he scares the shit out of me.
It's okay. I mean, I understand weird fears.
I mean, you're afraid of puppets, alright?
I am afraid of puppets. They're fucking creepy. So you can have Gene Wilder.
So I don't want him. He's creepy.
She does not recommend Young Frankenstein, but I'm saying if you're okay with Gene Wilder, check it out.
It does also have Peter Boyle in it. Peter Boyle.
He's the dad from everything, isn't he?
He's the dad from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah.
And he definitely was in a lot of other things. I also recommend Yellowbeard. I think that might be a Mel Brooks movie.
Yellowbeard.
It's got some Monty Python guys in it. Graham Chapman.
And Cheech Martin.
And Cheech. And Peter Boyle.
So...
Anyways, Yellowbeard is pretty awesome.
It's a Mel Damsky.
Definitely not Mel Brooks. Mel Damsky. But it's very funny. It's kind of along the lines of a lot of these Mel Brooks parody type movies.
Right.
It's like a parody of the classic pirate movies like Blackbeard the Pirate and Davy Jones and all that. But you have your pirate who, he's doing pirate things. He likes to steal and kill and play blackjack. Yeah. And he's like Bender on a ship. And he comes to, or he escapes from prison or something, and this bar wench thinks that, it's her husband, and she might have, like, legitimate reason for that, and he's all like, I just screwed you once, woman! and it's pretty neat.
Well, I mean, I've not seen it, but the cast looks promising with John Cleese, Eric Idle, Graham Chapman, I don't know off the top of my head, but Peter Boyle and Tommy Chong. Oh, it's got Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely
El
worth
Nebuloso. Tommy Chong plays El Nebuloso.
Nice.
It's just fun to say.
I saw that it was related, or no, people that like that also watch Hudson Hawk, which is a good one. Hudson Hawk's this cat burglar movie with Bruce Willis, and it's kind of a weird. He gets out of prison, and he has to do another heist all of a sudden, and he gets mixed up in this weird heist situation with the Vatican, and it's all very strange, but it's humorous. It's very funny. They time how much time they have to do their robberies by singing, like this song is 3 minutes and 41 seconds. And it's like, well, we've got that much time to get in and get out. So he's like, they did the robbery while singing, would you like to swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar? So yeah, it's a fun little film.
So, instead of watching Spaceballs, which the back of the DVD box says that it is screamingly funny, and I'd have to agree. At least the first few times you see it. I would have probably laughed if I had watched it this time.
Yeah, we would have gotten into it and enjoyed it, but we just didn't try.
Yeah. Instead of watching Spaceballs, the screamingly funny Spaceballs, we watched Little Shop of Horrors, which is a musical movie based on a musical play based on a really shitty movie starring Jack Nicholson.
Yep.
But who eats flowers? So weird.
I still need to see this because, it's Roger Corman, and I respect him a great deal. He's one of the earliest low-budget filmmakers.
Would you like to lose all respect for the man?
That's what's going to happen? Okay.
Yeah. It's just terrible. It doesn't make any sense. In fact, I don't know why they ever made a play out of this movie.
It was an interesting concept.
I guess.
I mean, there's been many iterations. I once saw... Actually, I own a movie called Please Don't Eat My Mother, which is based on the same story, more or less, but it's kind of softcore porn.
Alright, so Little Shop of Horrors in 1986 was based on a musical play, based on a terrible movie, based on another terrible movie.
Yeah.
Excellent. So anyways, the 1986 version is directed by Frank Oz, and if you know who Frank Oz is, you know that he is Kermit.
He's Kermit?
I think so.
I know he directed a bunch of stuff. I looked it up, and he directed, like, a lot of cool stuff.
Oh, he's Fozzie. He's Fozzie, not Kermit.
But yeah, he's acted in a lot of things, but he directed a bunch of movies you wouldn't think of.
Oh, he's Grover. He is
The
Random
Monster.
Random Muppets. He's Fozzie, Animal, and Miss Piggy. So yeah, he directed Little Shop of Horrors, and I would say that he did a very fantastic job.
He did.
And all right, the movie also stars Rick Moranis, who is very famous. You would know him from
Ghostbusters.
He is the Keymaster.
Mm-hmm.
And you would also know him from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Right, that's good.
And, you know, that whole series. He's the only guy who is in all the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids sequels.
Wow.
He was in Spaceballs, like we just said.
Oh, Strange Brew. He's either Doug or Bob McKenzie.
He was in Little Giants. Played the coach of the Underdogs. He's Barney Rubble in the Flintstones movie.
Oh, he's in Big Bully, too. You ever seen that movie?
Big Bully, I did see that.
I like that movie.
So yeah, that's basically, you know, you should know him. You should have seen one of those movies at least. If not, why are you listening to this podcast?
Exactly. It's one of those things. If you saw him, you'd know him.
Yeah, he's very nerdy. He always plays like nerdy characters, like thick glasses, like really like hunched over, short, scrawny.
Always wearing sweater vests.
Always wearing sweater vests. Little Shop of Horrors also stars Ellen Greene, who she's in Bunheads, which is new. Well, I've heard of it.
I was just laughing at the title. I was like, Bunheads?
They wear their hair in buns.
Okay.
I know what I was thinking about that she was in earlier is Heroes. She is Siler's mom.
Oh, okay. I see that. I couldn't think of, like, I saw that she was in Heroes, but I couldn't think of her character. Yeah. It was like Victoria Gray. I'm like, huh?
Virginia Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's Siler's mom. You know, it's been almost 30 years, so give her a break. So not too much stuff before then, but she's great.
Yeah, she's great in Little Shop of Horrors, and she's got a very, like, childly high voice.
It's all fake. She's actually a really good singer. I think she was actually in the Broadway play of Little Shop of Horrors as well. Vincent Gardenia was also in it. He is Mr. Mushnick, one of the pivotal characters in the story. Man that owned the flower shop.
Mm-hmm.
He's dead. He wasn't in anything else that I've ever heard of except for an episode of The Twilight Zone. But he did a really good job in Little Shop of Horrors. Played a pretty good character. He was in Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Nice. And let us not forget the one and only Steve Martin.
Oh yeah, Steve. Well, shoot, dude. No, this movie is chock full of people. Let's just go down the list, like we have been. Levi Stubbs, voice actor. He plays Audrey too. Steve Martin. If you don't know who Steve Martin is, go stand in the corner. Seriously, he plays Orvin Scrivello, DDS.
The sadistic dentist.
Yeah.
Now, we're assuming that everybody knows what this is, and I'd like to be able to say that is, but, you know, just on the off chance that nobody knows what Little Shop of Horrors is, it's a movie about a flytrap from space that grows very large and has to eat people to survive. And it's,
it's cute and cuddly when you first start feeding it blood, and then he eats your whole family.
Yeah, and so the main character, Seymour, is in love with another girl at his flower shop, and he is glad that she likes him because of all the fame he's got for discovering this crazy plant, but then he gets stuck because he's got to keep the plant alive, and that means he's got to feed it people.
Yeah.
And
he starts off feeding it like dickheads, and then, the plant gets all greedy. The plant can talk, and he's got his own personality, and he's such a douche.
He is.
And, he starts eating people that Seymour actually likes.
Yeah.
And Seymour's like, I can't do this anymore. So, hilarity ensued. I don't want to give away the ending, but, there are two endings. One's a happy ending. One's a weird ending.
I think we can give away the weird ending because it's not officially on the movie.
Oh, true. In the weird ending, everyone dies, and then Godzilla plant.
Yeah, the plants get put into every home.
Yeah, like a 50s commodity. Like, it's the new big thing. It's like Tupperware, but it's like a pet rock,
Yeah, but
pet Audrey tubes.
But in the end of the movie, you see giant plants like just bursting out of homes everywhere, and eventually they climb the Statue of Liberty.
Yep. Yeah, they do.
And yeah, it's some Godzilla stuff.
Apparently that didn't do so well with the test audiences. A couple things didn't do so well, like when he's feeding the plant some body parts.
Mm-hmm.
In the original cut, they didn't wrap it in newspaper.
You just had body parts?
Yeah, it just had like bloody fake body parts feeding it to him.
Yeah.
And they were like, the test audiences didn't like it. It was like too gory or whatever for the 80s. So they wrapped him in newspaper, and it actually made it worse. But they kept it. Kind of like in the South Park movie where they said the F word way too many times.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the MPAA was like, no, you can't have this. So they put more in it,
mm-hmm.
and the MPAA was like, okay. So the ending that's actually in the movie is a much better ending.
It's a happier ending. I honestly like the other ending a bit better just because I feel like that makes it a real kind of B-movie, monster movie. Like,
in all fairness, I'm not even judging the ending that wasn't in it as fair as I should because, I mean, it didn't go through all the post-editing and cutting.
And you... This is one of your favorite movies, so the ending that you... Like, the ending on the movie has been your ending for who knows how many years.
Yeah. But, like, if we talk about, like, my very favorite movie, Terminator 2, mm-hmm. I mean, it's also got an alternate ending, and I respect both endings. I get it.
Yeah.
But, in this one, I don't really like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, multiple endings are always weird. There's an ending to Army of Darkness. Have you seen that one?
I've seen Army of Darkness.
There's an alternate ending where instead of going back through the...
back to the S-Mart?
Yeah, back to the S-Mart. They give him a formula that will allow him to sleep for like a couple of centuries. It's like 1 drop is 1 century, 1 drop's 2 centuries. And they're like, it's important that you don't go over 1 drop or 2 drops or something like that. And you know how it worked the last time they gave him instructions.
Yeah.
So he takes like 3 or 4 drops and he wakes up and the entire world is just a wasteland. And he's like, I went too far. and it's an interesting ending, but it's kind of really sad. And it's just not the way I liked. Like, I love Army of Darkness. That's one of my favorite movies. And it's just not the ending that I'm used to. I mean, him going back to S-Mart and being a badass.
That's what makes Bruce Campbell a badass, is Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
The whole Evil Dead series. Otherwise...
Who knows where they would have ended up.
Who knows, yeah. So, anyways, other honorable mentions for Little Shop of Horrors is... we already said Steve Martin. James Belushi's in it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in there for a second.
He's not in the original ending. He's in only the current ending.
Yep.
John Candy, who is also Barf in Spaceballs, which is another reason why I thought it was okay to watch this instead of that. He plays a very small role as a radio personality. And Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Who plays a really weird character, Arthur Denton, who was also in the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
Who was played by Jack Nicholson. Arthur Denton was played by Jack Nicholson.
So Bill Murray's character was actually the flower eater?
No. First customer, whoever first customer is, was the flower eater. But actually, let me check. Wilberforce. Yeah, definitely a different character. Yeah, Jack Nicholson's one of his first movies, I believe, actually.
So, before we watched Little Shop of Horrors, I walked in, you were watching a movie that I love.
And I've never seen before. Night of the Comet.
It's kind of like a half zombie movie. It's not really zombies. The whole concept behind it is that this comet comes by. Imagine that. And,
so it's kind of the same premise as Maximum Overdrive, except for it turns all the people on Earth into dust instead of turning all the cars on Earth into bloodthirsty monsters.
Correct. And if you're
it's kind of like Armageddon, but instead of crashing into the Earth and killing everyone and being defeated by Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck, so weird, it turns everybody into dust.
And many other comet-related movies.
It's kind of like Deep Impact, but no Elijah Wood. And instead of there being Elijah Wood, it turns everybody into dust.
But there are a couple of people who weren't turned into dust because they were inside steel containers. For some reason, that was the thing that made it okay to, not turn to dust. And there are people who are only partially within steel containers, like maybe they had a leg out or something, and they turn into, like, zombies. And, that's the basic premise.
There's nobody famous in this.
They're infamous. You'll see the characters from this movie show up at, like, in the horror concert. I'm pretty sure that Cheerleader Girl was at one of the first horror hounds I went to. But yeah, and it's just these two sisters. They're kind of, the one's like a cheerleader. She's a little bit immature, kind of a valley girlish type girl.
She was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, she was. And Chopping Mall. I've always wanted to see Chopping Mall. And the Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Great job, TV series.
God, I hate that TV series.
Oh my god, I thought I was like the only one. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just like fun, cheesy.
She's in a lot of stuff.
Apocalypse movie.
And she's doing stuff now.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like she was in Gila, the TV movie, probably made for Sci-Fi Channel, but she's still doing stuff today.
Yeah.
Watch in the next movie, she will team up against 80s pop star sensation Tiffany against some giant animal.
Well, let's look at Gila real quick. Make sure that pop star Tiffany's not in it.
Gila monsters.
A giant lizard terrorized the rural Midwest community with a group of hair-killing peoples led by Chase Winstead attempting to destroy the creature.
But still, could be her next thing.
Yeah.
It could be like giant Gila monster versus Mega Python.
With 80s pop sensation, Tiffany!
Tiffany sings, I think we're alone now.
Doesn't seem to be anyone around.
It's a good thing to note that Weird Al Yankovic did a parody of that song. I think I'm a clone now.
I'm a clone now.
Yeah.
Weird Al.
Yeah. And, I think it's appropriate to talk about Weird Al because we're talking about parody movies and musicals. So, parody music.
You know what? I had thought of that exact thing earlier today, and I forgot about it. So, you're a better person than I. Yeah, Weird Al does make amazing parody songs. And much like Mel Brooks, who makes these amazing parody movies. I mean, you might actually know this.
You can ask.
How do the movies get credited for ticket sales at the drive-in? Do they at all?
Well, they do. Because when you go in, they ask you what screen you're going to be on.
Okay.
Depending on what screen you say you're going to, you get a different color ticket. So, like, screen 1's blue tickets, screen 2's red tickets, orange tickets, and white tickets.
Okay.
And then we know what movies are playing on screen 1, screen 2, screen 3. You're technically not allowed to change screens. Right. So you're supposed to be committed to your screen. And then the profits from that screen get split between the two movies.
That's cool.
But initially, in order to even get the movies, we have to sign a contract for how much money we're going to make for that movie. So if we don't make up that money, so say we say we're going to make $18,000 on the new Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't make that money, we actually have to dip into like our profits from other things like the concession stand.
Does that happen a lot?
I don't know. That's why, popcorn costs $18. Popcorn and 2 drinks is $18 at most places because that's where they make their profits. And, I mean, that's how they pay all their staff.
An interesting look into the other side of the movie theater business.
So, yeah, a neat thing that I was talking to Mike about earlier was that in all of the Audrey 2 dancing, singing scenes, anybody who was acting alongside Audrey 2 had to act in super slow motion because they had to stop motion animate all of those scenes for Audrey.
And that is amazing because you watch it, like we just finished watching it not that long ago. Audrey 2 moves amazingly smooth.
Like, you would think it was just, like, straight-up puppetry. But there's 16 or so puppeteers for this one puppet.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to, like, they needed her lips to move correctly. They needed the vines to act as hands correctly and be in specific places and specific times. And so, I mean, that's really hard to choreograph with 16 people who can't see anything because they're inside this giant plant suit. So they had to stop motion animate everything. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
At least that's what I read. It could be a big lie that I've been believing for a long time. I have no sources, but that could be it.
But yeah, as amazing to think of is what she was saying, the actors having to act insanely slow. Because, if you're having to film the plant in stop motion, you pretty much have to film the actor in stop motion too.
Yeah.
Which is just...
And it's singing. He had to sing in stop motion. Oh, another thing that we talked about while watching the movie is that there's a scene where Audrey 1, the girl, is, just fantasizing, daydreaming about, like, how she wants to live in the suburbs and be, like, a 50s housewife that cooks like Betty Crocker, looks like Donna Reed, has plastic on her furniture. Well, in Family Guy, the old pedophile man is singing about Chris Griffin, and it's the same song. The old man's wearing a dress, and he's spraying air freshener in his nice little house.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have to hand it to the Family Guy crew because they did such a really good job recreating that.
You should go watch Rubber.
Don't watch Rubber. You'll never watch anything we ever recommend again. It'd be like, why did you waste 90 minutes of my time?
What are you talking about? That movie's fun.
That movie is background noise.
No, it's... The movie has a living, sentient tire that blows people's heads up. What more do you want?
I want an ending!
It had an ending.
I want a middle! It's so meta. It's got so many meta characters. Like, the guy... I mean, seriously? Like, they play it like they're gonna act out this movie where they've got people who are watching them film the movie, just a little ways offset. And then they don't have, like, an ending to this movie, so they just give them all poison. They're like, we can't just tell them we don't have an ending. Let's murder them. And then this one guy who's just like, you know, an old guy living off the land or whatever. He's like, I don't want your poison food. Yeah, I just really want to see the ending of this movie. And, you know, so they give him better poison food. And the guy who went out there to take it to him just, you know, gets caught up in conversation, eats all the poison food, and dies.
Exactly.
And he's like, God, I just ate it. Oh, damn it. Dead. And then the guy who was watching went up to the rest of the actors in the film. He's like, so, how are we going to end this? And they're like, it's over. It's over. Don't know. It's over. And he's like, well, how about we go in there and blow the thing's head off? It doesn't have a head.
See, nothing you're saying makes me want to watch this movie less.
It didn't need to take so long.
Fair enough. I mean, it could have been like an hour long. That would have been nice. You know, there's nothing wrong with the short movie. Let me reiterate that. There's nothing wrong with the short movie. Freaking tired of all these 3-hour-ass movies. Damn, serious.
82 minutes.
Yeah. That's not bad. That's not even a full 90 minutes.
So long. So long for that movie. I swear, I slept for like 3 days between the beginning and the end.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'll have to watch it again, I guess.
Hey, if you don't want to watch it again, don't do it on my account. But
I won't. Other friends of mine say it's probably the best movie ever. But then I'm like, have you seen Little Shop of Horrors?
They're like, yes, Mal. Why must you always bring this up?
Oh, have you seen the Terminator? Terminator 1 has cutscenes that I didn't know about until like this past year.
I never liked Terminator 1 that much. I saw Terminator 2 first, and then I watched the Terminator 1, and I'm like, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's bad in this one.
And that's how it should be.
That doesn't make sense.
You should watch the best one first, the prequel to that, to get some background on it. Then don't watch any of the rest of them.
But I thought you liked some of the newer ones, like 4.
I like 4, because 4 was basically a 2-hour apology for 3.
Fair enough. I like that.
And 4 had a lot of undertones about second chances, and you should give us a second chance, and we're really sorry about that last abomination we made.
I still think it's funny that they still have a small-ass cameo by the Arnold unit.
It's not even really a cameo, it's all CG.
Yeah, I know. They CG'd him from the other movies, and it's just kind of like, oh, really? Come on. You could have not had him in this.
You were in the Expendables, but you couldn't be in Terminator 4? Really?
Well, he's still being like a mayor then or something.
He's the governor.
There you go.
Which I totally think his campaign should have been, vote for me if you want to live.
That would have been amazing. I honestly could never take him serious as a political figure.
So, I'll give you some history about my relationship with Little Shop of Horrors.
Do tell.
Probably a little bit relevant to our podcast, and I could put this in there somewhere. I got Little Shop of Horrors on a VHS tape, and it was one of those ones where your parents bootleg, and so you get 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
It was... You know what? I don't think that was on the same tape. But for sake of story, it was on the same tape as Howard the Duck.
Nice.
Because I remember watching both movies when I was like 4 and 5 years old, just over and over and over again. And my parents were like, stop watching that! And you know how VHS tapes go? They die.
Yeah.
When you watch them too many times, especially if they're bootleg. And, so I hadn't seen Little Shop of Horrors in probably about 10 years. Like, literally, probably 10 years. And... so then I spent like 3 whole days looking for it in the stores, because at this time it's like 2005 and it's going to take me, you know, it's nowhere now, right? And so I finally found it at Barnes & Noble for like $30, and I went ahead and bought it, even though I could have got it on Amazon for like $8.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to watch it then. And then I watched it probably 15 times in a row that day.
Yeah.
And I remembered all the songs.
That's awesome. You know, that's not nearly as pathetic as the one that I did. When I was a kid, I wanted this movie really bad called Spirit of 76, and it wasn't available anywhere. And eventually I found like a store where it was available. It was VHS. It was $80.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So I ended up paying for half of it. My dad paid for the other half because I was just like, I have to see this fucking movie. Yeah, you can get it at Fry's on DVD for like $10 now.
Dude, that sucks.
But yeah, somewhere I have an $80 VHS, and you know what? It felt worth it to me at the time because that movie is amazing. Have you ever seen The Doom Generation?
Nope.
It's a very disturbing... Well, I don't know if it's very disturbing, but it's a fairly disturbing movie that I would like to watch in the show sometime. We should make a list of movies we want to watch.
We did last week on the Planning for More Episodes episode.
And I don't remember that.
You said that.
I'm sure I did. I am like...
This is the episode where we plan our next episode.
Well,
something of the sort.
I recently told Renee she should watch some movie, and I couldn't remember what it was, and she couldn't remember what it was, and she thought it started with an F, and we were like trying to go through all this stuff. And this morning I was putting on socks, I saw the movie Curdled on the shelf. I'm like, oh, that's what it is.
What is it?
Curdled.
That doesn't start with an F.
No, it doesn't. At one point she's like, maybe it was a C. And I'm like, no, it wouldn't be a C. Why would you think it was C? You already thought it was F.
C.
But yeah. But it just the point of that story is that I'm old and my memory is shit.
God, I hate being old.
I know.
So that's it for this week's Bcast. We will see you next week when we talk about Seven.
Seven.
Nice.
It's
It's not a B movie, but it's good and we're talking about it.
Fair enough.
And we actually will this time. I'm not misleading you. Unless, of course, we can't find it on Netflix or neither one of us own it.
Oh, I own Seven.
Okay. Yeah. So, bye, everybody in podcast land.
Have a
we'll
week.
See you next week.
A good week. Yeah.
Bye.